And I went through the Bornstein Leadership Program myself, and I saw an opportunity to just enhance it, make it a little better, add some more, and bring some life back to it. And so we have a class of 15 amazing people who are already very involved in leadership, and graduation was slated to November 2020. We'll see how we're on track for that. And so I'd like to just mention some of the things that we're already involved with. For example, Stacy Gottlieb, she's on the GAO board. Rachel Slavkin is on the slate for the Federation board today. Natalia Goldenberg is also on the slate for the Federation board today. Mark Sugarman has agreed to join the Roth Family JCC board. Renee Friedman is joining the JCC Cultural Arts Committee. Jessica Levine is the PAC chair for the Roth Family JCC. And we have just many others are in the process of choosing where they want to volunteer their time and leadership. And it just goes to show the importance of getting involved, making a difference. And, you know, I hope that me getting involved has not just impacted, you know, the 15 people in the program, but will continue to have a trickle-down effect and impact the many, many agencies that we have. And it just goes to show the power of the Federation. So thank you for joining today. And I think Rhonda's going to take it from here.
Hello, good evening. Hi, everybody. We are starting today's annual meeting by asking for a motion to approve the minutes of the August 25th, 2019 annual meeting.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favor? Any against? Oh, there we go. Okay, we have 97% approved and 3 against. Excuse me? So we have now approved the minutes for the August 25th, 2019 annual meeting. Thank you, everybody. Now on to the bylaw changes and nominating committee report. For the bylaw changes, Article 4, Section 3, which will be coming up, are for the Board of Directors composition. The change is specifying each of our 8 agencies has the opportunity of having one non-staff representative. Also, an at-large member means a board member other than an agency representative. We're just clarifying that. And we are also adding a term limit of 4 years, 2 terms, to agency reps, so agencies can hear a different perspective from Federation. On the same article, Section 5D, vacancies, the changes include the board being able to add a new board member or agency representative anytime during the year by a majority vote of the board, not just at the annual meeting. Article 5, Section 7, for the president, a change of the president's duty is to establish a president's council consisting of the Federation's past presidents. Article 6, under committees, it's under Section 1 and 6, standing committees, and it is adding the Jewish Community Relations Committee, our JCRC, and a description of the committee. May I have a motion to approve these bylaw changes?
So moved. And I'll second.
Do I have a second? I didn't hear who that was.
Second.
Thank you. We are going to vote for these bylaw changes, and I want to remind you that only Federation members, as defined in the bylaws, may vote. And that is if you've made any kind of contribution to Federation, you are a member. So let's vote. All approve?
There's a technical issue, so I'm going to put up the same poll that you used for approving of the minutes for the bylaws, okay?
Before we vote, if people have questions about it, this
Okay.
would be the time to type it into the Q&A. We may have questions, Paul.
That's okay. I'll leave it up.
If you have
And this
questions,
is, we are approving the bylaw change.
please type them in the Q&A if you have questions. So there's a question, why not have boots on the ground, meaning staff members be eligible to participate as a agency rep instead of the board only?
Do you want me to answer?
You or Ming?
Sure. The purpose of having lay leaders be members of the board is to make sure that we have lay leaders participate in the decision making. And so ultimately they can report back to their own respective board, which we obviously trust the executive directors as well to do. But as an organization that has both lay leader, at large, and agency representatives, we felt that it was best to have those board members or representative of the board be on our general board.
There's another question. Can the same person serve another agency after a 4-year limit? So could somebody be a rep for Kinneret for 4 years and then become the rep for Hillel?
Yes, if they are reporting back to the other agency, I don't see a problem with that. Ming?
I don't think that change contemplates prohibiting
Mhm.
switching those members between agencies.
Any other questions?
So seeing no other questions, please continue to vote if you have not yet. We have another question. Do previous bylaws requiring notifying membership of potential changes before this meeting?
Yes.
And that was done here with via email, and the bylaw changes were all posted on the Federation website with a link in the emails that were sent to be able to review them.
Okay. Thank you. We have 100% in approving the bylaw changes. Really appreciate that. Thank you. It is now my honor to present the Board of Director and Officer nominations for the 2020 to 2022 term. First, on behalf of the Federation, I want to thank all of our board members for all you have done for the Federation and for our community. Your leadership and commitment have been greatly appreciated. This year, we are nominating board members and officers who, along with our current board members, will lead us into the 2021 and beyond. The at-large board members for your consideration are shown on your screen. Yash Bendayan, Matthew Brockman, Edward Bromberg, Debbie Ginzier, Natalia Goldenberg, Seth Hyman, Lee Norber, Rachel Slavkin, Michael Soul, Barbara Weinrich, and Edward Zisman. We are nominating 5 agency representatives for the new term. They are Scott Miller for the Holocaust Center, Hank Katzen for the Central Florida Hillel, Mark Katzen for the Jewish Academy of Orlando, Jeannie Scher for the Jewish Pavilion, and Olivia Scher for Kinneret Council on Aging. And finally, we are nominating the following individuals for our board leadership team. For president, Ming Marks, our current vice president, who first joined our board as a Bornstein intern. For vice president, Danielle Chris, also a Bornstein graduate and a current at-large board member. For treasurer, Diane Jacobs is currently serving as the treasurer and will continue. For secretary, myself, Rhonda Forrest, your outgoing immediate past president and also a Bornstein graduate. And for immediate past president, Brad Jacobs, who has led our board for the past 2 years. Thank you, Brad. You've done a fabulous job for the last 2 years. I hereby present to you the officers and board members for election today. May I have a motion to approve the nominees for the board of directors and officers for the 2020 to 2022 term as presented? Can I get a motion?
I so move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
We are going to vote for these nominees, and I want to remind you that only Federation members, as defined in the bylaws, may vote. You may begin voting now. Thank you. Okay, we have 95% approved and 5% have abstained. The motion has been approved. Thank you. I now install you as duly elected officers and members of the board of the Jewish Federation of Greater Orlando. You have all been selected to represent our Jewish community as members of its board of directors and as officers. You have accepted the responsibility of participating in and ensuring the success of the deliberations, decisions, and activities of the Jewish Federation. May you all go from strength to strength as you continue your work on behalf of the Orlando Jewish community. Mazel tov. I now have the honor of introducing to you our new president, Ming Marks. Ming is a J. Bornstein Leadership graduate and joined the board at the Federation board as an intern, then as a board member. He has served as secretary and vice president. As an attorney, Ming has continuously utilized his negotiating abilities to help us with the sale of the JAO building and numerous changes we have incurred during the past few years. Thank you to Ming's beautiful wife, Hillary, and his sons, Archer and Owen, for their constant support. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Ming.
Thank you so much, Rhonda, and thank you, Abby. Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to our new members and our newly re-elected board members. 5 years ago, Lori Levin nominated me for the Bornstein Leadership Program. And when I completed that program, I was asked to join the Federation board as an intern And I always get a kick out of it because I'm probably the only 40-year-old ever to be called an intern. During the past 4 years, I've enjoyed my time working with veteran and newer lay leaders, all of whom are extraordinarily vested in serving our Jewish community. Good, dedicated people like Hank Katzen, who I'd like to congratulate for receiving the Heritage Human Service Award for his years of service and his continued passion to help others. And these are examples for when my sons, Archer and Owen, see me leave for an evening meeting or retreat to my office for a Zoom call. They know that I'm working with other folks who are deeply committed to supporting our Jewish committee. And thankfully, I do have the love and support of my incredible wife, Hillary, who helps me in too many ways that can be mentioned during this call. This year, so much could be said and has been said about the past year and COVID's effect upon each of us, our families, and our community. But what I've seen only reinforces my belief in and my expectations of the Federation and of our community. In this unprecedented time, the Federation immediately supported other Jewish agencies, organizations, and synagogues. Whether it was setting up best practice and strategic planning sessions or analyzing information provided by governmental entities, our staff worked tirelessly with our local Jewish organizations in order to address issues that most, if not all of us, could not have anticipated in prior years. The Federation's Food Cart from the Heart program, supported by our generous donors, has been providing much needed food to local families and continues to do so. The Federation partnered with Jewish Financial Services to help deliver food to those who need it from the Perlman Food Pantry. The Federation partnered with our synagogues for holiday programming in this unique time. The Federation provided much needed entertaining and educational programming to the community while all of us sheltered in place. And the Federation partnered with the Holocaust Memorial Center for ongoing programming addressing important societal issues of our time. Through all of this, and not the least of which, with the help of our extraordinarily generous donors, we were able to extinguish the Maitland campus debt, thereby placing us in a much stronger footing moving forward. In short, what we've witnessed is our community's incredible resiliency and compassion in a very difficult time. And in the future, the Federation will continue to serve its core functions to support, connect, educate, and advocate by providing targeted services for the community. It will continue to support by helping other Orlando Jewish organizations address operational and other challenges in the upcoming year, as well as to provide support for our sister city in Israel. The Federation will continue to connect its members by providing new quality programming to enjoy, growing its successful women's division events, as well as family engagement through PJ Library. It will continue to identify and educate lay leaders through its Bornstein Leadership Program and provide their services, their excitement, and their new ideas to our local agencies, organizations, and synagogues. And we will continue to advocate through our tireless efforts of the Jewish Community Relations Council and its newest chair, Seth Hyman. Moreover, we will be able to efficiently serve the community and educate our youth by continuing to explore and refine innovative relationships with our partners like the JCC and the Jewish Academy of Orlando. And ultimately, we will be able to do all of this because of the ingenuity and hard work of leaders like Lauren London and our newest board member, Rachel Slavkin, who spent countless hours directing and supporting RAISE, a Federation program that provides work and social skills training programs for adults with special needs. And in fact, due to its great success, other Jewish communities have come to Lauren and Rachel and requested that they provide seminar format teaching so that others outside of Orlando can benefit from their teaching. Or Ed Bromberg, who came up with the phenomenal idea to partner with the Lapin Foundation to give out free shofars, as well as educational resources regarding shofar history and lessons on how to blow the shofar remotely. As we head into the upcoming year, I am confident that we will continue to adapt and to thrive, and we will do so based upon the work of our lay leaders. Finally, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank all of our Federation staff who have risen to the challenge of working remotely in a way that is truly admirable. So on behalf of the Board of Directors, I thank you.
As Ming said, this has been quite an interesting year. It's hard to believe the year started with the elimination of the campus debt, relieving an obligation that was decades old. In the year of COVID, this proved critical in ensuring the continued ability of our agencies to function. I want to thank all of our donors who made this possible, especially the Harris Rosen Foundation, the Jewish Alliance, Roth, and the Israel family. While we knew paying off this debt was important, none of us imagined just how critical it would be just a few months later. Author of Scattered Among the Nations. Brian regaled us with stories of some of the smallest and most remote Jewish communities in the world, highlighted by pictures and even some museums that created. It was an incredible moving experience to see how diverse the Jewish community is. Choices inspired hundreds of women together to celebrate the genius of women, as author Jan Kaplan spoke about her book. Then COVID-19 hit, changing everything for our community. But shut down the economy in March. The Federation was there, leading the charge to ensure our community had the resources it needed. As we learned new acronyms like PPP and DPE, and new phrases such as social distancing, the Federation served as a clearinghouse for information, sharing with our agencies, organizations, focusing on their missions, and serving those who desperately needed them. We shared best practices on reopening, outsourced the materials needed to keep us safe to some form of normal. RAISE, our social skills and work training program for people with special needs, was virtual. Social skills training, speakers, and guest performers all moved to a new platform to serve this need. All of the amazing RAISE programs to support both the employees and their families continue to impact our community in this new COVID virtual world. The training seminar for RAISE on the Road was created as we look forward to a bright future. When we couldn't gather together in person, the Federation delivered. Our programs included conversations with unorthodox author Deborah Feldman and Fauda star Itzik Cohen, also known as Captain Ayub. We offered sessions on meditation and relaxation with our friends and emotional well-being sessions with Anita Riggs. Learning served as a shining star, engaging the community with free classes covering everything from anti-Semitism to culminating in a collaborative community-wide JFS continues to provide food to those who are hungry and services to those in need through health. The building continues to find ways to continue isolated, even more than before, while Kinneret takes care of the seniors in their facility. The closing of campuses and being confident for college students. The Jewish Academy went to a virtual curriculum, providing high quality, excellent education, incredibly stressful and ever-changing environment. The Holocaust Center increased their programming and the scope, reach, and impact of their programming through virtual means. Safe environment. For many children and parents, having the Roth or Rosen JCC available for their children was a true lifesaver. Drive-in services and events. We now move into month 6 of this new COVID-19 reality. The Federation remains strong and ready to continue to ensure a strong, vibrant, study with the Cohen Center for Modern Jesus at Rice University. This study will our entire community as we look to the future and what opportunities lie ahead. Our work with Israel and the overseas community will be increasing as we deepen our partnership with Kiryat Motzkin and continue to share the beauty of our eternal homeland, the State of Israel. Our funding helps ensure 2 vital programs continue to serve the needs in Kiryat Motzkin. Mashma'ot provides significant work serving and supporting Holocaust survivors in the city and engaging the wider community in social and learning activities together with them. Our support of the annual youth program in Kiryat Motzkin ensures this vital program continues. This year, 150 youth from all backgrounds gathered around Cafe Dilemma, leadership development, Shabbat seminars, and countless sessions on issues of Tikkun Olam, identity, and values. As we prepare for the coming year, we're working with the Jewish Agency for Israel and leaders in Kiryat Motzkin to find more ways to ensure this vital work continues and that we're able to participate actively with these 2 programs. During this past year, we grew our PJ Library subscribers from 714 children to 1,099 children as we move to a 1 book per child model. In the coming year, we plan to increase that number significantly while also increasing the programming opportunities available to many families raising Jewish children in Central Florida. Our community is diverse and lives in diverse geographical areas. For the year ahead, we're committed to finding ways to engage these families wherever in Central Florida they live. As we struggle with the new realities that COVID has brought us, we can also reflect on the beautiful gift we've been given as well. Being part of the Jewish community is not about where we are, but rather about who we are. This is seen through the amazing things our synagogues, agencies, and organizations are doing in the growth of Jewish life, even during these challenging times. I'm excited about what the future holds for us and want to thank each of you for helping create this excitement. It's your support that makes everything possible. It's your commitment to the Jewish community and to the Federation that enables things to happen. So as we celebrate the end of the fiscal year, I want to celebrate each and every one of you for making a difference, for stepping up and ensuring that we continue to flourish. I also want to remind you of 2 upcoming programs that the Federation's providing as New Year's gifts with Rosh Hashanah approaching that are made possible by our generous sponsors. On Monday night, September 14th, we will join with 24 other federations around the country to present a special Rosh Hashanah cooking class with Chef Michael Solomonov. Following that, on Wednesday afternoon on September 16th, we're presenting an exciting program with the Jewish Federations of North America, highlighted by the cast of the TV show Schitt's Creek. And no, I didn't just curse. These are the things we can only do because of you and because of your generosity. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
My name is Jeff Gazer. I'm the editor and publisher of the Heritage Florida Jewish News. Hope everyone is holding up and doing well during this time. Congratulations to the incoming and outgoing officers, especially to Brad, who I'm sure is very happy today. This is an unprecedented and special day for a number of reasons. Of course, it's the first time we've used a Zoom format to present this award. And today is actually the anniversary of our recipient, Hank Katzen and his wife, Marcy. So happy anniversary. And lastly, it's also the first time in 34 years of me presenting this award that I'm not wearing a suit. So there's something to say about having meetings from home. To be eligible for the Heritage Human Service Award, an individual must have made a major voluntary contribution of time, energy, or talent to one or more areas of community service. And that individual should be the type of person who looks for no recognition other than the feeling they get by helping others. I am proud to announce that this year's Heritage Human Service Award winner is Hank Katzen. Even at an early age, Hank was determined to make his Jewish community a better place in which to live. That commitment was also inspired by his parents, Mark and Henrietta Katzen, who have always been active Jewish community supporters. Long before moving to Central Florida in 1993, Hank expressed his desire to help the less fortunate by serving as president of both United Cerebral Palsy of Western Pennsylvania and Advancement for the Developmentally Disabled. While in Pennsylvania, he also served as a board member of his synagogue, Jewish Community Center, and campaign co-chair of his Jewish Federation. After moving to this area, Hank immediately got involved in our Jewish community by serving as co-chair of the Federation's general campaign, helping to significantly increase the Pacesetters division. Hank has served on many committees at the Jewish Federation, including the Executive Committee, Major Gifts, and Strategic Planning and Allocations Committee. In recognition of his work, he was awarded the Byron B. Sober Young Leadership Award. Hank was also an active leader of our Jewish Community Center, serving on the board of directors and its executive committee. In addition to his work at the Federation and JCC, Hank was an invaluable help in the construction and sale of Temple Israel and the development of Congregation Ohev Shalom's new building. He was also very much involved in the planning of the future of the Hebrew Day School, now the Jewish Academy of Orlando, and supported it with all three of his sons attending there. One of Hank's most satisfying accomplishments, and maybe his greatest gifts to the Orlando community, was his work to help create Central Florida Hillel at UCF Northview. Hank served as president and board chair, and his total dedication to the Northview project led to a beautiful facility that provided the 6,500 Jewish college students a center for activities and a nucleus for growth. One community leader said about Hillel, without Hank's daily effort and facility the facility wouldn't have materialized, and his daily and constant input was absolutely invaluable. Another leader said, his ability to see an issue and provide counsel that moves conflict toward healthy solution has been keenly honed over the years. He exemplifies the cum alum. And another leader summed it up by saying, I can't imagine a stronger candidate for this year's award. Hank has been an amazing role model to his family and friends, and even while enduring health issues, he continues to remain positive and inspires everyone around him. And with all that he does, he never seeks covet or praise. And so it gives me great pleasure to present this year's Heritage Human Service Award to Hank Katzen. And here's what the award looks like. And I also know that Hank will celebrate a special birthday in a couple of weeks. So happy birthday, Hank.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to thank you, Jeff, and the great staff of the Heritage Florida Jewish News. Our community is inspired and enriched by the quality and the reach of its publication. Next, the most humble and thankful mention of past recipients and all those considered for this award, as there can be no doubt that our experience here in Orlando over the last several decades was enhanced by these hard workers that came before us. I will thank some family members in a moment, but before I do, I'd like to paint a picture of my experience on the board of the Jewish Federation of Greater Orlando in the 90s. Many nights and many meetings, I would find a chair between Abe Wise of blessed memory and Ed Zisman. These gentlemen took responsibility for leading and educating the boards on which they served, and we're all in their debt. Anything and everything that I've done in this community has been in partnership with stalwart families like the Wieners, the Biermans, the Shaders, the Gampsons, the Israels, the Ginsbergs, and Yarmus. These families and others too, numerous to mention, demonstrated a willingness to work hard and advance our community and to ensure an enduring bond with the people and the land of Israel. As I close these remarks, it must be noted that our community, our Jewish Federation, and our cadre of sister organizations are all on an upswing. People and agencies are partnering in new and exciting ways. And I don't think I'd be in this position today without great business partners like my brother Hirsch. I also want to thank my parents and my in-laws who modeled lifelong commitment and ingenuity. This life would not be as sweet without our 3 sons. They're amazing and talented. Malcolm, Max, and Mason, we love you and we're very proud of you. And above all, my wife of 30 years. I might note 30 years in a row. Marcy, you are the best and you make the best possible. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone. Do you want me to say it again?
No, thank you so much, Hank. And mazel tov to you for this award and congratulations on your anniversary, you and Marcy.
Thank you.
This will conclude the business portion of our meeting. But please don't go anywhere because we have a special treat for you in just one moment. On behalf of the Federation Board, I thank you for joining us this evening and for everything you have done to support the Federation in what has been an extraordinarily challenging year. May I have a motion to adjourn the 2020 annual meeting?
That's a move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. The business portion of this meeting is over. Keith?
Nope, it's me.
Oh, hi, Carol.
Thank you, Rhonda, and congratulations, Hank. That was certainly well deserved. As it has been said, it's been a very challenging year, and we really haven't had a lot to laugh about. But our special guest tonight is certainly going to change that. Since making Aliyah in 2006, comedian Benji Lovett has performed for audiences around the world, including Birthright Israel, Jewish federations, synagogues, hillels, and more. His perspectives have been featured on Israeli television and radio and in outlets such as USA Today, Time Magazine, BBC Radio, The Atlantic, and The Times of Israel. Benji has worked as a cross-cultural trainer with groups including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and during 2014's Operation Protective Edge. His humorous observations on the war led to his being called in Israel the only reason to go on Facebook. Take it away, Benji.
Thank you very much. Wow, it is great to be here, Orlando. I was at a raging party just a little bit ago, and when things got really nuts, I said, sorry, y'all, I gotta run. The Jewish Federation of Greater Orlando is having their annual meeting. The shell shots will have to wait. Do you know them in Israel right now? Everybody knows? Yeah,
Maybe not.
It is about 7:15 where you are, I believe. 7:15. Here in Tel Aviv, it is 2:15 in the morning. That is right. I'm calling from the future. Only for the Federation's annual meeting. Wow. Let me tell you, this is only my second annual meeting for any federation. This has far exceeded my expectations. Aside from Grey's Anatomy, easily the most compelling drama I've seen all year. Like C-SPAN, but a little. I mean, when the minutes of the 2019 annual meeting were approved with 100% of the vote, I got a little misty-eyed. It was like the UN partition plan all over again. But I gotta ask, I mean, I know you're on mute, so I can't hear from you guys, but over 60 of us on the call, Am I the only one who didn't understand all about bylaw, legal mumbo jumbo? Come on, admit it, people. You didn't understand that Section 3 composition thing either. What was that boots on the ground part? Like, did you invade Tampa? What was that? Freaking me out. I'm just saying, I think it was wrong for you to invite me to perform and not give me a vote. It's only Federation members thing. Come on, it's 2 a.m. Give me a say. Like, I feel like you gerrymandered me out of Florida. That is not right. And I just gotta say, Hank, that was a very moving and beautiful speech. But when you melted into the Cotel, I'm gonna have nightmares. Look at Hank. Hank is melting into the Western Wall. Freaking me out. And of course, we heard from Keith about some of the incredible work that the Jewish Federation of Greater Orlando has done to keep the community afloat during these tough times. And no exaggeration, Jewish Orlando, I can honestly say, if not for you, I would be sleeping. Right now, I would be. Welcome to Online Stand-Up. I'm guessing this is your first show for most of you guys, and it's weird, I know. Communication one way. Can't really see many of you smiling. Very little positive feedback. It reminds me of my childhood, actually. Mom, if you're watching, that's a joke. She's not watching. So it's really true. God, on a serious note, this is not a joke. For thousands of years, the Jews have laughed to keep from crying. Not an easy time in the world. But believe me, if there's anything I've learned from being in Israel, it is that no one is better than Israelis at laughing through hardship. So, just as it is human to cry, it is as human to laugh and smile. So we should really never feel bad. I actually just went to an in-person stand-up show outside. It was fun. People were laughing. So just if you laugh, just be quiet because my neighbors are sleeping on the other side of the wall. I have to work from home. Many people like to live stream on Facebook. I do not. I live stream on LinkedIn. My last show was so good, I was offered a job as a neurosurgeon. That joke is ridiculous, but these are crazy times. Zoom comedy. I've been doing a lot of these. I do, I guess once a week, I'll do a show in the middle of the night. This is not bad. Like, I didn't even go to sleep. 3 a.m, 4 a.m. And it's always interesting to see how people market me. Like, often I'll see on the flyers, like, Benji Lovett, international comedian. The thing is, international comedian doesn't tell you if I'm any good or not. Like, hey, is he funny? Who cares? He's got a passport. That's really all that matters, I find. But the best thing about online comedy, if this is worst case, if this is going horribly, I just close my computer and go to sleep. I'm already home. Not so bad. So I have a weird job. If it wasn't clear, I'm doing comedy on Zoom, but typically I perform less at clubs, but more in like the Jewish world. When there's not a global pandemic, I'll be in the States 3-4 times a year doing shows for different Jewish communities. One of my last shows before this thing hit was for the Jewish Federation. COVID? Who was that?
No.
Who was that? Was that Carol? Carol, did you call?
Yes, I did. I'm good. I know there
are a lot of questions. People ask me all the time, Benji, can I still get COVID-19 even if I didn't see 18 first? Yes. Yes, you can. One of my last shows was for the Jewish Federation of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I don't know, somebody probably knows this, very famous person from Grand Rapids, no longer with us, former President Gerald Ford. I know that a little bit before my time. Before the show, I go to the museum. Gerald Ford's Presidential Museum, I learn about him. This is right after Watergate, after Nixon, where he looked at America and said those famous words, "Our long national nightmare is over," which is what we say in Israel after a week of Passover. There's nothing. What a weird job I have. I had a show for Chabad of Atlanta. You guys probably know Chabad. I'm on the airplane next to a non-Jewish woman. I have the flyer on my computer, all the details. She looks at the computer She looks at me and says, now I've lived in Georgia for 45 years. I've never heard of a comedy club called Chabad. Is it funny? I'm like, not to you, it's not. And just for the record, it's Chabad of Atlanta. My job is so weird. I have shows in cities I've never heard of before. I promise you. Last year, I had a show in a very new city in northern Israel called Harish. Never heard of it, but I wanted to do my research. So I talked to a friend who knows someone who lives in Harish. He connected us before the show. I'm texting him to ask questions, and I text him in Hebrew, hey, can you help me with Harish? I didn't notice that autocorrect to hashish. He's like, I don't do any more block number. How weird is job of comedian? I don't even know who I'm talking to. I can't really interact with you. When I do shows in Israel, live shows, I could have in the crowd, you know, Americans, Native Israelis, Ethiopians, Russians, Europeans, very diverse audience. One of my last in-person shows, a friend of mine from South America comes up to me after the show. This is Benji. You always talk about being American. American this, American that, because you're from the United States of America. You might not have ever thought about there are many kinds of Americans. You're North American, I'm South American, he's Latin American, Central American. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? I never thought of that. I will try to be more inclusive. Well, later on, he and I are watching the news, and the Ayatollah, the supreme leader of Iran, is screaming on the TV, death to America, death to America. I look at my friend like, Victor, can you believe he said that about us? He's like, I'm Colombian. You're on your own, gringo. I'm a gringo American. Here's a joke that Israelis love. Because again, you know, the sense of humor here is darker because not an easy place to live. You know, in America, with political correctness, people often hear certain words and think you're being mean-spirited, when in fact, this joke only makes fun of ourselves for being able to have a sense of humor in tough times. Again, I'm watching the news recently, and the head of Hamas threatens to level Tel Aviv, just to flatten Tel Aviv. And I say, go for it. If that's what it takes to rebuild my apartment, let the jihad begin. I would like a new kitchen. Allah Akbar. Guys, when this thing is done, you got to visit Israel. If you've never been, come visit. There's something for everyone, whatever religion you are. But I always say, when you travel to the Middle East, or really anywhere abroad, it helps to have a sense of humor. Example, my name is Benji, short for Benjamin. Many Israelis don't know that name. I've been called everything. Shalom Bunji. Boker Tov Ben Gay. Here's how I get revenge on them. When they ask my last name, I say Massachusetts. They can't say that. I say, you gotta have a sense of humor in times like this because, you know, at least for me, as an immigrant, this pandemic has been very stressful. I was in the States doing shows in March in Florida, South Florida. I changed my ticket, came back here as fast as I could, and the minute I got to Ben Gurion Airport, security looked at me and said, hey, from now on, you must keep a distance of 2 meters. And all I could think was, oh my God, now I have to learn the metric system. I'm gonna die because I'm American. I shouldn't have made Aliyah. Really, I mean, can we stop calling this the new normal? I read that in the media, the new normal, how to cope with the new normal. Really? The new normal? I'm watching Netflix till 3 a.m, eating ice cream out of the container. I'm 45 and single. It feels much like the old normal, doesn't it? Normal. Old normal, not so different. Yeah. But hey, when I got back here, I had to go straight into quarantine. 14 days in this apartment, did not leave. Because I was abroad, what could I do? Unfortunately, my Israeli neighbors were so warm and friendly. Everyone was a great family. Neighbors I'd never even met were going grocery shopping, leaving me food on my front doorstep, which was great. But on day 12, 13, 14, the food supply is getting low, and I don't want to bother them. So I felt like I was back in college. Like I'm looking in the fridge, I'm like, all right, what do we got here? All right, an onion, ketchup, and butter. That's a meal. I can do this. I'll make this happen. I'll tell you the toughest part about quarantine, this was all my communication, right? I could only talk to people by Zoom or the phone, right? And every phone conversation in quarantine ends the same. Hey man, I gotta go. I gotta go to the bathroom. Whoa, that is too much information. I'm like, really? Because where else could I have to go right now? I can't leave. Yeah. But I got out. And like it was said before the meeting that, even during these tough times, there are opportunities for new experiences. I know it was a long time ago. Remember Passover? Do you remember? Did you do the Zoom Seder, people? Orlando? Did you like the Zoom Seder? I'm not going to say I like the Zoom Seder. I'm going to say I love the Zoom Seder. You see, the Zoom Seder is great for the person who wants to feel Jewish, but likes going to sleep before 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, Mom, I'm sorry, Mom. I wanted to do the whole Haggadah, but I only have the free account, 40 minutes max. Hey, if you wanted me to afford the pro account, you should have sent me to Jewish day school. We can't all be the wise son, can we? I got a lot of rabbi friends in America. I'm watching a lot of tefillot, like prayer services, streaming. Anybody watching like tefillah streaming online? Some of you guys, we might do it for the high holidays. Here's my tip. If you watch prayer services online, just disconnect your computer from the TV. Because if you watch tefillot online, the first time it's fine. But every additional time, it just feels like the most boring rerun you could ever watch on cable TV. Like, it's the same show every time. I'm like, Rabbi, give me a cliffhanger. Mix it up. I should be able to call my buddy and be like, dude, did you see Shacharit this week? It was amazing. Oh yeah, this time they put the Shema after Adon Olam. Who saw that coming? By now, I'm sure some of you have had birthday parties on Zoom. I went to a surprise party on Zoom. Yeah, like the person didn't even know we were going to be there. And even just forget the Zoom part for a minute. I feel kind of dumb after 14 years in this country. I didn't even know we do surprise parties here. Like, surprise parties in Israel, that's a bad idea. I would not want to jump out of the dark screaming at someone who might have done special forces in Gaza. I've seen Fauda. Would not want to surprise Doron. But yeah, we thought we had this COVID thing beat in Israel. We all returned to normal life, then it came back. So, people are out and about wearing their masks. But I don't understand those who wear their masks, but not correctly. Like it'll be under the nose, under the chin. Like if you're going to wear it, do it correctly, right? It's like being a boxer putting on his jock strap and stopping at the knees. Like, that doesn't work. I don't think they're doing this in the States, but many places here, restaurants, pharmacy, they take your temperature before you go in. Like I went to the grocery store tonight and they took my temperature, but did they have to do it rectally? That just seems excessive. Carol's like that one. I see you laughing now. But guys, I am in a good mood. Last week, I celebrated my 14-year Aliyah anniversary moving to Israel, which is super exciting. And I'll tell you why. for so many reasons, but I love telling Americans when they're not on mute because they clap, but Israelis have no clue why anybody would ever leave America and move to the Middle East. Do you know this? That they speak to you differently before you move here and after? But when you're a tourist on like some Federation mission, it's all sales and marketing. Oh, Israel is great. The people, the beaches, we are a family. After you move, we were joking. You believed us? Why do you want to live here? It's like, what happened to the other guy? He moved to New Jersey. But guys, if you've never been here before, you got to come visit. It's not like it looks on TV. I know people think it's a war zone. It's a desert. Come on. You know, I have a friend in America. He's like, Benji, you live in Israel. Do you ride a camel to school? What are you, a moron? I'm an adult. I ride a camel to work. The amazing thing is that when you get here and get off the plane, you're not thinking about danger. You're not thinking about, politics. You're looking around and you're in shock from all the Jewish people here. It's crazy. And all the stereotypes of North American Jews, doctor, lawyer, out the window. Here, it's like, guy driving the bus, Jewish. Guy working at McDonald's, Jewish. My first time here, I got held up at knife point. Jewish criminal. How do I know? He took my wallet and invited me for Shabbat dinner. Oh, is that beautiful? Only in Israel. But I feel like the longer I live here, the more, it's weird, but I think I'm getting more disconnected from American Jewish life. I did a show recently. They were telling me before the show, 20% of the community is Orthodox and 37% is Reconstructionist and 18% is just Jewish. I'm like, whoa, what? Just Jewish? That's a label now? Just Jewish sounds like a defensive answer to a very aggressive telemarketer. It's like, hi, are you Reform? I'm just Jewish. Are you sure you're not conservative? I said just Jewish. All right. Sorry. But it's different here. I mean, in America, I grew up thinking Judaism was a religion. And here it's a religion, a culture, a people, a language. Guys, Orlando, how weird is it that most of us grow up saying prayers in a language we don't even understand? Weird. I will never forget the first time I actually understood what I was saying. I'm at Shabbat dinner at a friend of mine's in Tel Aviv, totally secular. We do the hamotzi, the blessing before the meal. I've done it a million times in my bad American accent. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And suddenly I'm like, oh my God, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Taking the bread from the land. I look at my Israeli friend, I'm like, this is amazing. You guys actually understand all this? He's like, yeah, but who gives a crap? Israeli secular Judaism. Guys, I'm a diaspora Jew religiously. Yom Kippur, holy day of the year. What do you do, if anything? Fast, go to synagogue. In Tel Aviv, people ride their bikes, go to the beach. I'm walking to synagogue. I see women in the other direction in their bathing suits. You ever try to repent while you're having sinful thoughts? I'm sitting in shul repenting. Sham knew. God knew. She's really cute. I'm going to hell. I need a mechitza next year. Yeah. And look, guys, I know we're the home to 3 religions, right? Judaism, Christianity, Islam. I can't even imagine celebrating Christmas in Israel. First of all, we have no chimneys. I don't know how you're getting your gifts. Certainly not through the postal service. But I gotta think, the moment Santa Claus gets into Israeli airspace, he's getting shot down by the Iron Dome. Not sure how that works. We got Purim. Who needs Halloween? My first year in this country, I made the mistake of asking an Orthodox rabbi what he was going to be for Halloween. Oops. He said, does it not bother you to know the Jews were once killed on this pagan holiday? I didn't know that. But I'm going to be Harry Potter. So you do what you got to do. Yeah. Look, when this thing passes, come to Israel. I always say come during a holiday if you can. That is the best time to visit because the Chagim are amazing here. All the Jews, it's incredible. Like, where do you think Passover is better, here or in America? It's got to be here, guys. The food, kosher food everywhere. Please tell me you've seen this. I was at a grocery store in America once. I saw a box that said matzah, not kosher for Passover. Who's eating that? That's like going to the pharmacy and picking up your medicine. Insulin, not for diabetics. It's ridiculous. But, I don't talk too much politics here, but we might go to a fourth election in the last couple of years, which is crazy. And I always say, if you don't know, Benjamin Netanyahu, has been our prime minister for a long time, over 10 years. And I always say, if you want to vote for Bibi, if you like Bibi, fine, vote for Bibi. What I don't understand is the Israelis who vote for him, not because they like him, but why? There's nobody else. What? There's nobody else? We're talking about prime minister. People will vote for the same guy over and over and over again. If they go to a bad hummus restaurant, they will never give it a second try. Nobody else. Would you ever use that logic in another context? Hey man, how's your relationship? It's awful. It's been going on too long. I don't like her. She doesn't like me. She's under investigation. I'm like, dude, why don't you break up with her? There's nobody else. I love living in Tel Aviv. I love my Israeli friends. And, I know we have a lot of stereotypes about each other. Big stereotype of Israelis that we have, they're rude. We think Israelis are rude. Guys, they're not rude. If you think so, spend more time here. But they're gruff, right? They are straightforward. They're direct. They say what they think. Weird at first, but you come to appreciate it. There are no taboos in this country. Nothing we will not talk about. My first Shabbat dinner ever. I'm at a friend's house, and I scratched the price tag off the bottle of wine when I walk in. Because I don't want people knowing I spent 20 shekels. It's like $5. I then realized how ridiculous that was. Because only in Israel would you hide the fact you spend 20 shekels on a bottle of wine and 10 minutes later reveal your monthly salary, which is also 20 shekels. It's very expensive. As we think they're rude, they think we're fake, overly polite. Excuse me, sorry, thank you, pardon me. I got an email from an American friend of mine the other day. Dear Benji, I hope this email finds you well. Who cares how an email finds me? In 10 million years, no Israeli would ever start an email that way. Dear Yossi, you owe me 45,000 shekel. I hope this email finds you well. You owe me 45,000 shekel. Yeah. America, we don't like to say things, straightforward. I had a Zoom meeting last week, and the moderator said beforehand, all right, guys, we're going to take a 5-minute bio break. Like, a bio break? Does that mean go to the bathroom? Just say it. Say toilet. We all use it. If I told an Israeli I needed a bio break, he would think I was dissecting a frog. I don't know. But I think the thing I miss the most about being locked down, I'm not locked down, but I'm pretty much staying at home as much as I can. I miss speaking Hebrew. I don't get to speak Hebrew much anymore. And as some of you know, when you move to Israel, you do something called Ulpan, which is Hebrew immersion class. Some of you have surely done Ulpan. If you didn't like it, I guarantee you loved your teacher because they speak to you like you're 5 years old. Boker tov yeladim. Good morning, children. Ma shlomchem. How are you? They could say anything and make it sound adorable, even if you have no clue what they're saying. Boker tov. Hayom anachnu osim colonoscopia. Oh yeah, that sounds great. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up in just a second, and it's been a thrill to be here, and I hope I gave you guys a chance to laugh. Stay tough. If we lose our sense of humor, we got nothing left. So the last thing I'm going to say is I hope to see you guys either in Orlando or in Israel. And when you come visit, the best advice I can give, besides have a sense of humor, is try not to compare. Right? Some countries, some things are better, some things are worse, things are different. You have cultural differences. I saw a movie recently, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. You know what this is called in Hebrew? Geshem shel falafel, falafel rain. I used to make fun of Israel for this, guys. It's not Israeli. It's an international thing. Cannot translate movie titles from one culture to another. It's impossible. So I thought I'd take a few Hollywood movies and translate them so they make more sense for Americans. This is a tale of high speeds and danger on the roads. In the US, The Fast and the Furious. In Israel, Tuesday on Egged. It's our bus company. A man cannot stop telling the truth, offending everyone around him. In the US, Liar, Liar. In Israel, My Friend Moshe. We're very straightforward here, what we say we think. A group of soldiers go behind enemy lines to rescue a fallen comrade. In the US, Saving Private Ryan. In Israel, I Think I'll Go to Yeshiva. And last one, a group of friends try to remember the inappropriate events of their previous night out. In the US, The Hangover. In Israel, Birthright Visits Tel Aviv.
That's good.
Jewish Orlando, thank you guys so much. Mazal tov on your new year. And
Thank you.
that's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Benji, for staying up so late to give us that awesome performance. And thank you, everyone, for attending our meeting this evening. And good night.